Hey everyone, good morning. James Azar here with CyberHub Engage for your daily cyber briefing live on YouTube. For those watching us live, thanks for taking time in your busy morning to tune in for your most pressing news. We do this for you folks so that you get what you need to know as you start your day and as you start reporting to your teams and to your bosses. So today is Tuesday, January 7th, 2020. And here are some of our headlines. Sodinokibi Ransomware hits Travelex. Homeland Security warns Iran maintains a robust cyber program. And MageCart attackers steal card info from focus camera shoppers. And a minister in Austria says that Austria is unprepared after a vicious cyber attack on their foreign ministry. And now for your daily cyber briefing, brought to you today by our friends at Get Smart Eye Technologies. They're in beta testing of their revolutionary biometric app that helps secure your products, your photos, your documents through biometrics. You can go to getsmarteye.com/James. That's getsmarteye, E-Y-E, Echo Yankee Echo.com/James for a lot more information and be one of their beta testers as a loyal CyberHub Engage subscriber. And now let's get into today's stories. It's been more than 6 days since a cyber attack took down the services of the international foreign currency exchange company Travelex, and we now know that they were infected with the Sodinokibi Ransomware. The attack occurred on December 31st and affected some Travelex services. This prompted the company to take offline all of its computer systems, a precaution meant to protect data and prevent the spread of the ransomware. And a notice on their website, which you can see if you're watching us on YouTube, and if you're not watching us, if you're listening on one of your favorite podcast listening platforms, you can go to our Twitter page at CyberHub Engage to see all of the images and documents we're posting throughout the show. As a result, customers could no longer use the website or the app for transactions or make payments using credit or debit cards at more than 1,500 stores across the world. Hundreds of customers' complaints came pouring in via social media since the outage began. Understand this, for a lot of you who may have not had the privilege of traveling internationally, Travelex is at every single major airport, and in a lot of nations, especially in the US, they're the only foreign exchange service available at an airport. So if you're a foreigner landing in the US and you want to exchange your euros for dollars or your shekels for dollars, Travelex is pretty much the only place you can do that if you haven't done it before you boarded your flight. In replies to customers today, Travelex was unable to provide updates about the progress on restoring its services. In the meantime, the company shows a cyber incident notification on its main page of its website and planned maintenance on other pages. On January 3rd, Computer Weekly magazine received insider information that the London-based foreign currency exchange company fell victim to the ransomware attack, albeit the malware family remained unknown at the time. The same news outlet today reported that the ransomware used in the Travelex attack is Sodinokibi. CyberHub Engage was able to independently confirm that Travelex systems were indeed infected by the Sodinokibi/Revel ransomware. We were told that the extensions added to some of the encrypted files was a string of more than 5 random characters. This malware typically adds different extensions to files locked on other computer systems as well. In addition to the ransom note, the Sodinokibi crew encrypted the entire Travelex network and copied more than 5 gigabytes of personal data, which includes dates of birth, social security number, credit card information, and many other personal details. One of the risks here is passport information. When you travel abroad, when you want to exchange money, they typically ask for your passport. So that here is probably the biggest piece of information that these ransomware criminals hold. We were told that they deleted the backup files and that the ransom demand was at $3 million, and if not paid in 7 days, and we anticipate, we don't know this for sure, that the countdown likely started when the ransomware started on New Year's Eve on December 31st. The attacker said they will publish the data they stole, taking a lesson from the Maze ransomware gang in order to shame their victims. initial rumors, we don't have this verified. So you'll see this kind of trending everywhere today, but none of this is really confirmed outside of that there's an alert by many people saying that this happened due to a Pulse Secure VPN server being targeted by Revel. And those who haven't patched it, where there's been warnings since last summer by CISA, by the NSA, by the UK National Cybersecurity Center in October, saying that state hackers were going to exploit the Pulse Secure VPN vulnerability to take over systems and infect them with ransomware. This flaw has now been adapted. This could be similar to a WannaCry type of outbreak if you're not patching. So if you're using the Pulse Secure VPN and you haven't patched, please do so. We don't have confirmation that this is what's happening at Travelex, meaning Travelex hasn't confirmed this, so we're not going to go with speculation. There's a lot of that online, but for the sake of the amount of the reports that are out there, we'll just let you, our listeners, know that if your company is using a Pulse Secure VPN product, please ensure to patch it if you haven't done so yet. And now to our next story, where the U.S. government has issued a security alert over the weekend warning of possible acts of terrorism and cyber attacks that could be carried out by Iran following the killing of Qasem Soleimani, the world's #1 terrorist. The warning comes in the form of a rare National Terrorism Advisory System alert, of which the U.S. government has only issued a handful of times since 2011, when the system was put into place nearly a decade after 9/11. The alert was published a day after a drone took Qasem Soleimani's life at the Baghdad airport. The airstrike came after violent protests and attacks on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad by Iran-backed supporters, as well as the blood of over 600 of our men and women in battle at the heads of Soleimani. The world is a better place today. Iranian leadership and several affiliated violent group organizations publicly stated they intended to retaliate against the U.S. The DHS said that Iran and its partners, such as Hezbollah, have demonstrated the intent and capability to conduct operations in the United States. According to the DHS NTAS alert, possible attack scenarios could include scouting and planning against infrastructure targets and cyber-enabled attacks against a range of U.S.-based targets, specifically against industrial control systems, where their likely point of revenge will be to set a sort of... they want to make a symbolic revenge here, folks. So they're going to be looking to go after our industrial control systems. If you want to know more about Iranian APTs and what some of the expectation is, I wrote a paper yesterday on LinkedIn and Medium. You can look it up. But what does the future of Iranian APTs hold post-Soleimani's death? And I have a bunch of predictions. You can read those in the article, and we can debate those later. Acting U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Chad Wolf said that there is no specific credible threat to the homeland at this time. The alert is simply to warn that attack in the homeland may be coming with little or no warning at all. So please be prepared. I've been saying this since President Trump and the U.S. military took down this terrorist. Mind your TPPs, your Iranian TTPs. Understand every alert. Investigate. Now is not the time to procrastinate or just sign off an alert as a false positive. There's a lot of ways where they can actually operate. I anticipate that Iranian APTs will still have good and advanced capabilities for the next 12 to 18 months before it starts to fall apart when the leadership vacuum really starts to be felt. Right now, they're motivated by revenge. Soon after the revenge is over with, you're going to have a lot more problems for Iranian APTs, and I think we stand to benefit from those. And now to our next story. The website of popular photography and imaging retailer Focus Camera got hacked late last year by MageCart attackers by injecting malicious code that stole customer payment card details. In true MageCart fashion, the script loaded at checkout to capture billing information and send it to the attacker's servers. To hide the malicious traffic, the attacker registered ZDSassets.com, a domain that resembles Zendesk's legitimate domain, ZDAssets.com, rather than the CDS Very easy to get confused. The MageCart domain was registered on November 11th of last year with a hosting provider in the Netherlands, and the thieving script was discovered in late December by Juniper employee Munir Hahad. When analyzing the breach, Hahad found that the attackers modified a JavaScript file to inject the payload. The routine is encoded using a base 64. Once decoded, the researcher was able to see the routines executed by the skimming script. The details it stole included email, customer name, address, billing and shipping, phone number, and card details, number, expiration date, and CVV code. You can see those scripts now on our screen or by going to our Twitter page, as well as with all the system warnings I had mentioned in our previous article. According to DNS telemetry data seen by Hahad, the command and control domain receiving information belonging to focus camera customers was resolved 905 times since its creation. This could be indicative of the number of victims, meaning this isn't a large-scale breach. It's a very specified store, 905 possible victims in total. It is possible the same CNC domain is being used across multiple compromised shopping sites and campaigns, so this may not all be coming from one site, according to Hahad. After determining the focus camera website had been compromised, Juniper Threat Labs tried to contact the site owners. However, time zones and weekend delayed a response from the retailer. The researcher was able to talk to the domain admins, and the malicious code was removed from the site once they were able to touch base. So good job by Munir Hahad and the team at Juniper Labs for finding this and reporting it to the victim. MageCarts remain a extremely difficult attack for many small websites who are e-commerce based, who don't quite understand the severity of cyber threats against their organizations and their customers. And we'll end with this story today. The Austrians' State Department IT systems were under a serious attack, as we reported yesterday, likely carried out by a state-backed threat group, according to a joint statement from the Foreign Ministry and the Ministry of Interior in Austria. A coordination committee has been set up on the basis of Network and Information System Security Act, and all relevant federal agencies are already active, the press release said. It continues to say the problem was recognized very quickly and countermeasures were taken immediately, as were reported yesterday. The attack was disclosed on Saturday evening, and according to Foreign Minister Peter, who I'm going to butcher his last name, Goischenbauer, statements quoted by the Austrian National Public Service broadcaster ORF said it was still active on Sunday. The most recent and ongoing hacker attack, according to a Parliament lower house member, Robert Lemire, said in a statement, the recent and ongoing hacker attack on the foreign ministry clearly shows how important cyber defense is and how little Austria is apparently prepared to ward off cyber attacks. Lemire, as a regional defense spokesperson, also added that Austrians armed forces should receive funding for cybersecurity training courses. This would allow the military to intervene and help defend the country's critical infrastructure against future cyber attacks attempting to either cause disruption or gain precious political and defense information. Due to the severity and the nature of the attack, it cannot be ruled out that this is a targeted attack by a state actor, according to the joint statement, and the state's protection mechanism provided for this are active at all levels, so Austria remains completely prepared to deal with this specific situation, although not a lot of specifics about the type of attack, the extent of the attack, and what it really compromised in the foreign ministry remains to be seen. Was this an attack to get foreign ministry policy from Austria, who, along with Germany and other Eastern and Central European nations, lead a policy? This very much looks like a fancy bear style of an attack based on just some of the initial reports that we've been able to see. And one person who we've spoken with here at CyberHub Engage has indicated that there are additional international partners helping Austria deal with this specific attack as well. That's it for our daily cyber briefing today. We'll be back with a lot more tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe, give us 5 stars. You can go to our Twitter page at CyberHub Engage for a lot more information. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week and stay cyber safe.